Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Board of County Commissioners meeting for November 25th. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay.
Here we go.
First thing we have is our approval of our minutes from last week. Gentlemen, do we have any additions or corrections?
I move to approve the proceedings of Board of County Commissioners for Montezuma County held on Tuesday, November 18th, 2025 as presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept the proceedings of the Board of Commissioners, Montezuma County for November 18th, 2025. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And next up, planning, all by yourself. Well, before we present this resolution that I'll let Stephen do, what do you have for us?
I have the resolution that y'all approved for the Chapter 10, and I just need your signatures. And also, yesterday afternoon, I got a plat, so I need, this is for the boundary line adjustment between Tova Spector and Catherine Kraus. So, I have that.
Okay. Do you have a number on that resolution so we can adopt it?
It's 29,
29, 25.
Oh, gotcha.
29, 2025.
And just to say a little more about that, Commissioners, this is essentially the written decision for that public hearing that we held last week on the proposed change to the land use code. So the planning department has incorporated that change that the board made in its motion into this draft. And other than that, it's the same resolution that was proposed with the cover sheet for the new adoption.
Yes.
Okay.
I would so move we adopt resolution 29-2025 to adopt the amended land use code to include the Chapter 10 regarding alternative energy, including solar, into the code.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept and sign resolution number 29, 2025 to adopt the amended land use code to include the Chapter 10 regarding alternative energy, including solar, into the code. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, roll them out, and we will come down.
Do the plat first.
That's it? Gosh, I like it. All right.
Do you have anything else for us, or?
Do not at this time. Thank you very much. Public comment. Okay. The rules of decorum will be strictly enforced. Outbursts and interruptions from any person in the hearing room, including shouting, clapping, booing, laughing, or other reactions to the proceedings, are prohibited. Any comments from the public shall only be made in person who are residents of Montezuma County, who have been recognized by the chair, who are speaking in the microphone, and only after they have stated their name and address for the record. Each person will have 3 minutes to comment, and no speaker may yield their part or all of their time to another speaker. Comments shall only be made to the board, and no comments or questions shall be directed to staff or other members of the public. And with that, the public comment session is open.
Good morning. My name is Alan Mays, 21693 County Road 21 in Lewis. So I have a couple of comments, but thank you for the opportunity. With the adoption of Chapter 10, I was just curious. I wasn't going to even bring this up, but there was just special recognition of solar only in that adoption. I'm wondering why it wasn't just alternative energy options. But anyway, the other is Cortez paper had an opinion page article of the commissioners on blight on the county. I found it very interesting. I know that individuals, landowners, property owners do want and need to clean up their property as needed. And it's the issue of my backyard, their backyard, whatever they're looking at. But so my feeling on that is I understand where you guys are coming from, but I think that my backyard is probably different than others. My viewscape, there's quite a few people out there that think that thousands of solar panels are going to be blight on the community. So that was my comment of that op-ed that you had. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Next.
Good morning. I'm Eleanor McFarland, 18405 Road P.2 in Cortez. As we move forward from the commissioners' meeting last week, I'd like to comment on a few highlights. The NREL report, NRCS fact sheet, and agrivoltaics guidelines mention more than once that they should be kept in mind when the solar additions to the land use code are actually put to the test. Whether added directly to the code or used as guides when a project comes before you, there are many reasonable points contained in those documents that can apply to Montezuma County. You indicated you'd review and consider them. Please continue in that vein. Keep looking at other renewable energy sources besides solar. If, because of infrastructure limitations, we can only accommodate one facility, as an aside, is that a fact or a rumor? I'd vote for the most efficient one. In other words, 100% efficiency would be preferred over anything that delivers less than that. You frequently mention looking at more than one type for the county. We would ask that you keep doing that and listen carefully to those who live in the county and are most directly affected by any future development. You all mentioned details that are important to you after listening to the public input. Project placement, no special pass for any one type. Taxation on the property, preserving ag land and the rural aspect of the county. Property values, historic lands, and property rights put us all on the same page, one way or another. We have some common ground with which to move forward. Finally, the big picture comes to mind here. Yes, government moves slowly, with baby steps along the way to get to where we are today. You've heard the same themes over and over through the opportunities at town halls, coffee with the county, and public hearings you've provided over this past year. Now we can look ahead to who, when, where, what, and why with a wide-reaching plan. We hope part of that plan includes further refinement to the land use code along the way, as you indicated that it could. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. With that, I'll close the public comment session of this meeting, and we will go straight into our consent agenda. We have 7 bullet points. We're going to pull bullet point number 1, the decision of the IGA grant for the sheriff on mobile ID devices. We did not have anybody to present this yesterday, so we're going to put it off until our next regularly scheduled meeting, which will be in 2 weeks. Unless there's something.
My input would just be to make a motion to change the
Pull it
consent
off the
agenda.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would so move we approve the consent agenda with the deletion and postponement of the decision on the IGA grant for the sheriff on mobile ID devices.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the consent agenda as presented with the removal of bullet point number 1, the decision on the IGA grant for the sheriff on the mobile ID devices. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Good enough. All right. Do we need a executive session today?
We do not today.
Okay, very good. Well, then I'm gonna go straight into the attorney's reports. It's gonna be quick and easy.
Commissioners, good morning. Last week, one of the highlights of the week was Commissioner Copenhaver and I executed the property purchase that the board had authorized a few weeks prior up there at County Road 25 and Highway 184. That's intended to facilitate the construction of that road realignment at that intersection, improve the safety of the intersection. So hopefully that long process will be concluded and that project can go forward. Otherwise, we've got a big child protection trial next week that Gus is going to be handling for us, our assistant county attorney. And then, just working on kind of some small things, working with administration on some different contracts and things like that. As we look towards the end of the year, I mean, really the most substantive thing by far is going to be that Leaf Properties briefing. We've got that, but hopefully things will be slowing down here as we get close to the end of the year. Any questions on anything?
I don't have any.
Okay. Travis, we have some payables.
Commissioners, it was pretty busy last week, not anything overly exciting other than Steven stole my thunder on the Highway 184 and 25 road information. I think the biggest thing that we dealt with last week is the disease at the fairgrounds, and I can let Commissioner Copenhaver chime in on that when he gives his report. And then we just have our payables. So the grand total is $3,116,843.39.
I move to approve the October 31st payables for Montezuma County for 2025 in the amount of $3,116,843.39.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the payables from Montezuma County for the month of October in the amount of $3,116,843.39. Is there any questions, comments, or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Ms. Purcell, do you have anything?
So just to let you know, the election, we did do all of our post-testing for the election. Everything went well. We had 0 discrepancies in our risk limiting audit, and it has been certified and sent to the state. So they should be swearing in some board members here in the next, for the school districts in the next little bit. Any questions? Okay.
That's good that it's 0 discrepancies. I like that. That's good. I would just tell the public that when you guys do some of this stuff, I think they can attend, right? They just have to have notification. If you've never done it, you should go see what they have to do and go through to get these things certified. Pretty interesting. If you've never done it, I would recommend it. All right, Commissioner Copenhaver.
Yeah, this past week, like attorney said, we did get the purchase process done on the property to realign I-20, or Road 25 and the 184.
I-25.
Yeah, that's about
We
right.
called it I-25 once because when we had those traffic counters and stuff out there, we had one person in the middle of it. Almost every night at between 12 and 1 o'clock would go up that road that over the maximum of 96 miles an hour. It was going faster than what it would record. So, and it was almost consistent at night at the same time. He was going home, obviously, or somebody was. Anyway, the other thing is with this viral infection that's got everybody's attention as far as the horses all over the United States. This is a herpes virus, and it's kind of like, I guess you could compare it to what in people to the herpes virus that we have. This thing will lay along the nerves and be latent in the body of horses for a period of time, for a long period of time. When they get into some of these events and stressful situations, it allows that virus to come out. That's why it shows up around a lot of these big events. Right after that, all of a sudden there's an outbreak. It's because that thing has been in that horse for a while, and they get under real stressful conditions that allows it to come out. It's kind of like shingles in people, basically, because that's what happens in us. That virus will lay along the nerves, and your body can't get at it to fight it with the immune system because the protection of the nerves keeps your body from getting at it. That's why we don't have any white blood cells and stuff basically in our brain tissue, because it's all protected away from that. So it's something that happens with those type of situations where they're under real stressful conditions, and that allows that virus to come back out. In most horses, it shows up just as a respiratory type infection, but that's when they're contagious. They're really contagious is when that's spread in that way. But for some reason, and they don't know why, some horses, it goes into the spinal cord or the spinal tissue and paralyzes them. And that's almost 100% fatal when it does that. Anyway, that's what's out there, and that's what happens with that virus. There actually is a vaccine against that virus. The problem is you can vaccinate them, but that's not going to make it get rid of that virus that's laying inside that nerve sheath, because your body can't get at it. So it's not going to eliminate it. So when the situation is just right, it can come back out again, no matter whether they've been vaccinated or not. Anyway, that's the situation that's out there with these horses that everybody's heard about in the last, especially a couple weeks since this outbreak occurred down there in Texas, Oklahoma, and most of them are in that area. I got one of the emails from different states we get. Of course, a lot of the states have really shut down the major events in their areas until this thing settles down again. This has happened before, and it usually happens with some big event like this, where there's a lot of horses from all over at these events. I know in the email I got back from Utah, it said there was 18 horses that were at that event in Texas or Oklahoma, that come back to Utah that they're tracing. That there's 18 they know of that was just from Utah that was at that event. So every state is tracing these things right now and got them wherever they find them. They put them in quarantine until they're past a certain period of time. Because if they did pick it up, they would show some signs fairly rapidly. So that's the situation they're in right now. And until this all settles down again, it's probably best to not hold any major equine events. And as long as people are not traveling and taking their horses to some of these events, you really don't have much to worry about as far as picking it up. Unless you would expose them to some horse that was at one of those events that picked it up. That's the only way you'd get it.
Should local people sterilize their barns or horse trailers or anything like that? Or
Well,
would you go that far?
If you had a situation where you thought somebody might have had that would probably be a good situation, good thing to do. But if you'd almost have to have that horse come in.
Yeah.
And it's like what we were talking about out at the fairgrounds, not to let people overnight there traveling through, because you never know where they've been or where they're coming from. So that's the big thing how it would get into there. Otherwise, as far as it showing up around this area, it's very unlikely. And these outbreaks have happened before. It's not something that's brand new. These things have happened at different periods of time through the last 20, 30 years. But why some horses it gets into that spinal cord and stuff and not others, as far as I know, there's no explanation of why those horses develop such a severe lesion and the next one doesn't. There's no, from all the stuff that I read on it and know about it, there's nobody knows why certain ones it gets into the spinal cord and paralyzes them like that. Anyway, just to give people a little bit of information on that stuff. But those horses can actually have that virus and be in their system for a long time and not show anything at all until they get into a really stressful situation. And of course, and even with us, that decreases your immune system enough that that virus can come out and take off. So that's the situation with it. Because I've had a lot of people call wanting to know about vaccinating their horses and stuff. It's really not going to stop it, in my opinion.
Okay,
Okay?
very good. Commissioner Lindsay?
It's tough to follow a report like that. But I don't have much to report. Just have city council tonight, and we'll go there and see what's going on. I didn't look at their agenda all that long last night. Other than that, wish everybody a happy holiday. Please stay safe out there. Got some serious fog laying in every now and then, which we didn't have, but be safe, drive safe. I know all of our EMS outfits are pretty stressed right now, so give them a break. That's all I have.
Very good. I'm going to echo a lot of what, our attorney and Commissioner Copenhaver, we did get that deed signed. We got that property closed. And then we were able to meet with the engineers and Road and Bridge last week. Had a great discussion, went over all of the pay items, looked at the engineer's estimate, which is great, which is not what we were being told, but it's actually really good. And that will be able to go to out of here pretty quick. So again, thank you two gentlemen for getting that executed on Friday. It seemed like it was a little touchy, but everything went well, and we're finally moving forward with the project that we've been talking about now for about 2 years. So thank you guys. Went to a health day lunch out at the hospital for their award that they received for our rural hospital. We went out. Actually, it was a relatively small group, 20, 30 people. But it was a nice luncheon, a great award for the hospital, and I think that they're doing a great job out there, and I really appreciate them also. I did go to a board meeting for the Housing Authority. Our new director has been there now for 1 week, is drinking from a fire hose, but she's rolling up her sleeves and getting things done, and moving us in the right direction. We also interviewed for a new board member to fill Mr. Lucero's spot. So hopefully that board member will be coming on next month with us. And then most of my work has now been working with the other counties and working with the groups on a letter to get to Congressman Hurd as far as the NCA. I did forward the draft to you gentlemen. Hopefully you've had time to look at it. But we probably won't send that until after the 1st of December, just due to the fact that probably nobody's around out there because of the Thanksgiving, and which is understandable, but that will be ready to go out to Congressman Hurd. And that is all that I have. We won't be here next week. We'll all be at a CCI in Denver, so hopefully it doesn't snow on Sunday while we're driving, and hopefully not Wednesday when we're coming home. So other than that, that is all that I have.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to adjourn this November 25th, 2025 meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.